Well, we have Mark.
Mark.
Oh, Mark.
Mark's infrastructure, he's the chairman.
And I can't put Josh on, I've learned my lesson.
Mark can participate, we just won't approve the minutes from the last meeting for infrastructure. It's 6.
Alright. Well, I guess I'll share it. Opening of the meeting. Additions to the agenda. Anybody want to add things?
I do. We don't have on there, I'd like to add the budget worksheet that you should have in front of you.
Okay.
So that's all I want to add to the agenda.
Okay, approval of agenda. Motion to approve. Motion to approve. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Public comment? Nobody wants to say anything? Anyone? Okay. Review approval of the November Finance Committee meeting minutes. I think that's just us. Motion to approve. Second that motion. All in favor? Aye. Aye. And I will skip over infrastructure because there's not enough infrastructures here. BNSF Quiet Zone Draft Report. I'll let Josh and Frank talk about it because I wasn't there for the call.
I was.
We had another one today too.
Oh, did you? Same guy?
No, we talked to Federal Railroad Commission today.
Okay. Was good or no?
Well, I don't know. Maybe Josh got a little more out of it than I did, but I can't keep up with all the acronyms. There's so many acronyms in. What it comes down to me is we can probably get a quiet zone, but it's gonna cost us money, and we don't know how much.
And to add to what Frank's saying, the first gentleman that we talked to on the phone
From the ICC.
from the ICC, one, we'll have to go back and have it because the initial, what do I want to say? The initial agreement with the railroad, the village, the ICC, and
Federal Railroad.
the Federal Railroad was
Is this the email dating back to like 22, 23?
Yes.
Okay.
So that, being that's so outdated, number one, we would have to have it all re-engineered. We'd have to pony up another, he said roughly between 50 and 80,000 for the railroad, correct?
Yeah, I believe
For our, and then whatever we have to pay an engineering firm to rewrite all the engineering because the numbers are old. They're gonna consider them outdated. Number two, the decision has to be made for what road, Frank?
for Pontiac and for Shabbona Road. There's 3 of them.
Yes. And so one of them has to, in order for the numbers to work with the old numbers, one road would have to be closed. The pedestrian crosswalk right now would have to be closed. We would have to pay to have pedestrian right-of-way put on Shabbona Road because that's the main thoroughfare. So this is just what we gathered in the, half hour we were on the phone with him. And if I left something out, Frank, let me know. But in order to qualify for this, we do not qualify because the numbers have changed. We have to get updated numbers from the Federal Railroad Commission on what it takes for the quiet zone. Then we have to have the study done for traffic again. And then that has to be submitted on whether it's a yay or a nay. And he said a decision had to be made soon because one of the crossings is Pontiac is slated to be redone this year.
Redone sometime in the near future, I don't know.
It was 2026, he said the date was.
Yeah, they're gonna rebuild it.
Yeah. He said on the phone it was 2026, from what he had in his paperwork. So we needed to make a decision on which way we were gonna go. But then I asked him about, the way that read, we would have to have, ask for an easement from the railroad for the properties that back up to the railroad property, right? For the drives that enter.
From what we talked to the ICC and Josh and I talked today to the
Federal,
feds,
okay,
and a lot of it's the same,
okay,
is what you're saying. We need to get traffic count numbers, and we need to get train count numbers. Because the numbers that they Chastain put in their report are not correct. And they're old.
So what's the real number? Remember how there was the 7,700 number?
We don't know that until we
No
get
one
new
can tell us
traffic
that.
counts and new train
Well,
counts.
what was the thing that they sent, looked like a revision? That was included in the packet that you sent out? That showed a 10,000 number.
Well, we talked to her about that today. And the way I understand it, the numbers are no good, because they're too old. They have to all be updated.
Right, well, no, I understand that, but if they up that to 10,000, did you see that letter in there?
Was there a revision to the quiet zone report?
Well, it looks like they, I don't know what it's called.
Was that Jen, was there a revision?
No, the draft report hasn't changed.
Okay.
No, but there was a single page that was sent over that looks like it,
This one,
yeah.
there was an email and this one, and then a multiple page one for figuring, but this one was the Federal Railroad horn sounding and quiet zone establishment fact sheet. That was in the packet.
The take home that I got though from today's meeting was that the numbers are wrong, but once they get corrected, we're likely to meet the numbers, but it's still, we have to do signage and fencing and a lot of other things that are going to, and they found another crossing at Pontiac. There's actually two crossings there, not just one.
It's all, correct me if I'm wrong, Josh, it's all gonna take a lot of, we gotta chase some numbers down and get the Federal Railroad, the traffic count numbers. And then she'll plug them in to see if it's
feasible to do.
within the parameters of the,
So, I guess I'm gonna throw another question, so do we have to, with you talking to her, do we have to still close the Pontiac?
Sorry, I don't understand.
Shut up.
neither do I.
Oh, that was good.
Me either. I'd like to call that something. But anyway, is it still in her eyes, because there was in question with the ICC guy, if we didn't close that and we didn't close the pedestrian crosswalk, even if the one that's up there now, or pedestrian walkway, because there's no
Gates on it.
yeah. Are we still in line to do that? Or do we have to, was that asked to the federal lady?
I think what she basically said was, we don't necessarily have to close New Palmas. We might want to if we want the incentive, like I think it was $150,000. I think she said that, or it's Pontiac. New Palmas, the pedestrian one, she said that we have to do whatever was agreed to in the minutes in the initial meeting. And if we don't, we'd have to have another meeting and figure out a different plan, basically.
Yeah, my takeaway from it was that I guess there's two questions, the one's Pontiac, but Nokomis, because it's a non-standard crossing, there's not a metric that Nokomis has to hit, it's just we have to come to an agreement with the ICC and FRA. And we did come to an agreement in the meeting, which was we would close Nokomis and put up fencing. We can come to a different agreement, it's just that then we would have to have another meeting.
I think we might wanna relook at that because I just in the past 2 or 3 months, I watched the train shut down halfway through town and take up 2 crossings.
Mm.
So, and that's headed east. And I don't know if they're waiting for another train to come by or what at that time. But you're gonna start taking crossings out of the question. What happens if you have a fire on this side of town?
There's a lot of times they're closing all the crossings, quite a few times.
Yeah, so
Well, Nokomis is the pedestrian one.
Yeah,
No,
he was talking about the.
oh, just the pedestrian?
Yeah,
Okay. I have no problem with that if they're gonna add if we can have them add a pedestrian one on Shabbona Road or so have you, but, as far as closing any streets, I'm not for it.
The Nokomis crossing, you said the day doesn't count in our score.
Yeah,
It does not count in our
It
score?
it doesn't count, it's not good or it's not bad,
yeah,
It
it's
just
how you
doesn't
factor
count.
in.
yeah,
so it's.
yeah. To qualify for the Nokomis to qualify for the quiet zone, it's just that we just have to come to an agreement between the ICC and FRA, which we did.
We didn't,
Well,
the previous board.
somebody at the village did, and the ICC said they would put money toward the fencing that we would have to build.
Up to $150,000 for
$150,000.
fencing.
Yeah.
And that's all it was for fencing.
Yeah, but that's just Nokomis.
Nokomis, correct.
I found the document, it's a quiet zone revision, it's a 1-page.
Oh.
So you see
Yeah,
how the
this is-
number went up, and again, they're using the lower number. And that's with the 2 closed, that's with Pontiac closed and Nokomis. So I don't know why that number went up so high.
Well, this is if they close these 2
Right.
and then upgrade the gates of the other 3. So they had a few different iterations of the numbers.
Okay.
So one of them was just you keep Pontiac open, but you upgrade the gates.
But what I don't understand is the Shabbona as is, with it closed, that number's quite a bit smaller. See what I'm saying?
The numbers are wrong.
The numbers are wrong.
So all the
She
numbers
said
are
that
wrong.
many
And
times.
we still don't know if it's 7,700, 9,400, or what.
Yeah, and I even ran like the numbers that Chastain had for us myself, and
It's still not good.
You ran them on their calculator?
not on the calculator, but it's just an average. So if you take the numbers and divide by the number of crossings, that is the number. And that number was not the number that Chastain gave us.
Right, and the Nokomis crossing doesn't count in that number to divide it out by.
Correct. Yeah.
But the Pontiac Street crossing, it's 2 crossings, it's not just one, there's 2 crossings there.
Right.
So
So
what, just the east and west side of the street, is that what they're saying?
There's a spur track that goes in there, they call it the industrial
the
track.
offshoot, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a crossing. And from what I took from it, is they're gonna have to do something with gates and lights on that 3rd crossing.
yeah, and the ICC has already allocated funds to upgrade that crossing anyway. So if that counts as 2 crossings, then that gets our number way below where we need it. So.
I think Chastain should have to redo this whole thing for
I
free.
agree.
Yeah.
They're not gonna.
But they're not going,
But
you know what I
there's
mean?
another
Don't
part
ever
in
do
there
it.
is Indian Road. Cause that crossing's added in there,
Right.
And there's quite a bit of work that would have to be done on Indian Road, there'd have to be paving put in out there. Because the markings they put on the gravel will not stay. So Indian Road crossing is gonna have to be upgraded for one
Does it have to
household.
be included though? It
It-
doesn't have to be included though.
But you don't get to use the number
Of close,
to,
okay,
divide to get the average.
And the
Yeah.
train has to start honking the horn a quarter mile before Indian Road, so it'll probably be in town.
Yeah, it would be better to include Indian Road, I think. Did the ICC, did they program funds for Indian Road? Cause I knew there were several things that they were gonna do.
I
like
think,
regardless
yes,
of what we do.
I think they did, but I'll just tell you guys, I come away really confused after talking to her today. And talking to the guy we talked to from the ICC. And I talked to him after you and I talked.
Yeah,
I talked to him this week. And he told me he's not advocating we close Pontiac Street because he doesn't like closing crossings. But we can.
I'm not, I told you, I speak plainly, I'm not for closing crossings, especially with the fire department on the other side of the tracks.
right.
I think if Pontiac qualifies as 2 crossings instead of 1, that helps us tremendously with the risk index. So I think it probably helps us to not close Pontiac if we get qualified as 2.
But closing the Comus, right?
Yeah, I think we'll probably have to close McComas regardless, or at least the ICC and FRA will have to say, will have to give us something that we can do. We'll have to do something with McComas.
And Josh made a good point today, that if we close that crossing, it's gonna be hard to get another crossing if we need one back open. I mean, we're not gonna get another crossing if we close one.
No,
And I think that was a real good point, Josh, that if we close it's gone.
I think the long and short of it is, we need the updated numbers, which I think we can get from the ICC. Right?
That's what it sounded like.
Yeah,
actually, you need it from the Federal Railroad first.
we need to give the numbers to the
We need to
FRA.
give we can get the numbers from the ICC.
Yeah, and once we have the numbers, they'll tell us what we need to do. So, I think that we should just.
So it sounds like we're just starting over.
And the other point is, whatever we do, there's gonna have to be the village of Shabbona is gonna have an expense.
So how much did we spend on the first go around?
$62,000
Total?
for engineering.
Not including what you
And
paid
railroad
for.
engineer.
Okay, so that's all engineering. Cause I know Chastain and then there was railroad,
There
so.
was money to the railroad, there was money to Chastain.
There was 27, I believe it was 27,000 to the railroad. And the rest went to Chastain.
We will get a discount.
Yeah. If we can get the numbers and the numbers are good, then we really don't have to do anything else. So,
Other than pay for it if we decide to do it.
well, if the numbers work out, then the only thing we would have to do is just do whatever we agreed to do to Nokomis, which the ICC said they would pay for. So,
I think there was more to it though, because we also have to either get the spur track needs to have signals, or we have to move the signal for the normal tracks back so that it covers all 3 tracks. So that would have.
where, Illinois?
No.
It's Pontiac.
At Pontiac.
So,
Well, the ICC is gonna do work on Pontiac too.
but are they gonna pay for that? I don't know.
Well, they've already programmed like $1 million for Pontiac.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
they
but-
should do
For what
So-
scope?
Yeah, but I'm sure if we tell them like, hey, this should be done, I mean, let's,
Okay, but if we qualify with it being 1 crossing, that would be no problem, but if we only qualify with it being 2 crossings, then they have to install a brand new set of, like 2 instead of just 1, and they probably aren't accounting for that.
I'll kiss somebody's butt at the ICC.
Well, and the other part is, like the alleys behind your place in the fire station, those are too close. You gotta be over 60 feet and they're not. So the alleys would have to be moved or reconfigured.
I think that was only if you wanted to install the medians, but it did.
Yeah, that's
higher
for the
score.
Medians, or we had to have the four-way crossing.
Four-way crossing, yeah.
I just,
But I think we still qualify without having to do any of that. Based on, well, again, we don't know what the new numbers are.
Yeah, if the new numbers qualify, we don't have to do any of that. If they don't, then we would have to in order to
Right,
qualify.
right.
Yeah, so ultimately we need the numbers.
Yeah.
We need the numbers.
Sure, you need the numbers before you can do anything else.
The traffic and the train. But the train, I think, sounds like it would be easy to get.
it sounds to me like the
Seems like
ICC
that
would,
Yeah.
would have both numbers they can give us again, but
Sure.
I will call him and talk to him about numbers. And if we get the numbers, the Federal Railroad lady said she'd put them in the calculator and tell us where we stand.
So we can get all that without having to pay any money to Chastain
We should be able.
Or the railroad.
or the railroad.
I hope so, yes.
ICC and the Federal Railroad have never billed us for anything, just the NSF and Chastain.
Yeah, we don't have to talk to BNSF or Chastain for those things.
This is assuming the ICC can give us the numbers, which, from what it sounded like, they can.
So I think the can again, we're gonna kick down the road, I guess, to, wait and see about these numbers.
Yeah.
I've talked to quite a few people in town about the quiet zone. And they're not really worried about it. And these are people that have lived here for years and gotten used to it. Where you guys, it's new to you, I think. Josh said he's lived by train tracks for quite a while, but, my take on it is I would hate to see the village spend more money towards this than we already have. Because I think it could be quite substantial.
What if we don't have to spend money?
We're gonna have to, if we close a pedestrian crossing, we're going to have to find a way for people to get across the railroad tracks from the north side of town. Which that either means improving Illini Street, or it means putting in sidewalks on Shabbona Road. Now, tomorrow I have a meeting with the county, because that, I think, is their problem, is Shabbona Road. I don't know if they wanna do it or not. I'm gonna talk to Nathan Schwartz tomorrow, and that's one of the items that's gonna come up is, are they willing to,
Improve their road and their walkway.
well, that,
I question if you can do that with the easement you have.
I do too.
And if you're gonna take property away, the two land owners are not gonna be too thrilled about it.
Well, she's wanting to sell, so maybe she'd sell us the whole thing, I don't know, and again, it's money.
Who was that, Beth?
No, it's, Tina, what's her name?
Ceiling.
Chumley's,
Yeah.
yeah,
No, well, yeah.
Mrs. Chumley. So,
That's all the village needs is another lot.
they give you something to mow.
Not a lot
Gotta
of
keep you
that.
busy.
Can you make, we can put an office in there, and being the pizza ovens in there, then we could,
It'll be warm in there.
it'll be warm in there, and then we could have,
Angie's new
we could have Angie making pizzas in her free time.
It's gonna be the new village hall, Chumley's. We'll be cooking pizzas all day.
So just being brutally honest, it's sitting in the seat is a resident and neighbor to the train, I get the readouts that you guys put out every month and we're dead broke. If you're even considering spending more money, I'm not in favor. One person, but I can't believe that we're having this conversation if we don't have that any money.
Well,
I have to agree.
fundamentally, I agree, but it does sound to me like there's a shot that we don't have to spend any village money.
Go for it.
So, you know, if we could get the thing and somebody else is paying for it, then I think we should do it.
I find that hard to believe, though.
I think that's wrong, from what we heard today. We're gonna have to spend money.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to make stuff ADA compliant, walkways and stuff. It's gonna cost us money, but I'll get the numbers.
Well, I mean, we'll find out. So, we should at least find out.
If it was that easy, if the numbers came up,
It would have been done in
every
2022
every
or
town along the
23.
railroad
Would it? I
would
mean,
be a quiet zone.
Hey,
It's just way too,
how long did the quiet zone report take to come out?
it's, could be 12 months. It says right in the material you got. So by that time, maybe your numbers are bad again, I don't know. I think quiet zones is something they really don't wanna do. So, but I'll get the numbers and we'll come back to it, I guess.
Okay, so I guess that's where we stand on the BNSF quiet zone. Anybody else have any questions, comments? All right, moving on, engineering RFQ, what is this for?
Our engineering agreement with Chastain expires on the 27th of this month.
Great.
So we need to come up, decide how we're going to go about. We gotta have a village engineer. Are we gonna renew the contract with Chastain?
No.
no.
Let's give them a chance.
What?
I'm kidding.
So,
How bad do they wanna renew the contract? Maybe we'll get some free numbers.
so we need to decide how we wanna go about selecting a new engineer. I've had conversations with a group called the Farnsworth Group of Engineers. The mayor from Lee and I sat down and talked to them because they're also having problems with Chastain, bigger than ours. And they're looking for an engineer. I was impressed with them, but I'm easily impressed, so. There's a group out of Sugar Grove, Municipal Engineers, it's Engineering Enterprises. So there's two companies we could talk to, and I'm sure there's more, but how do you wanna go about it? Do you wanna have meetings of the committees as a whole?
Well, the board meeting in December voted to do an ad hoc committee.
Okay, so, and I think we put the chairman of each committee on there.
Josh, Callan, Mark, and Denny.
So, do you wanna have them come in and present to us, is what I'd like to do, but do you wanna take the time to do that?
Yeah.
I think we have to. So we're gonna be stuck in the same kind of predicament we're in now.
Okay, so I can set up maybe 2 a night, and how many do you wanna look at? You wanna look at more than 2, you wanna look at 4?
Well, we already know what we don't want. Let's start out with the 2 that you know of. One you've already talked to. I don't know if you've talked to the other place in Aurora.
Sugar Grove.
Sugar Grove.
I had called them, sent them an email asking for help with the lead lines. We were looking for an engineer to help us with lead lines. And at that time, they didn't have time for us. but now all of a sudden it seems that they do, so. I'll talk to them and I really did like this Farnsworth group, the two guys that came in. But the worst part about the Farnsworth group is the principal from the Farnsworth group, his last name is Chastain.
No.
No relation to the other company, it just happens to be his last name. So that's.
It's a sign.
Thank you, Richard, because that's what it is.
You got a bad taste in your mouth.
They really seem like, they could do the job for us.
So in your conversation with them, did you ask them, is it a standard that you get charged the way we've been charged with Chastain? Is there a retaining fee that we have to pay, or?
I don't know that if they ask for a engineering agreement up front. I don't know, I didn't go that far with them.
Okay.
So we're not gonna do a request for qualifications posting?
I don't know, I think, I don't know
Are we
what
required
you
to
guys wanna do. It's not required because it's professional services. We don't have to go out for bids for it.
I guess Don said last time.
So I guess I'll set up the two companies and try to get them here in the same night. We'll have one present and then the other one can, and you can decide, I guess, you wanna go farther.
Fair enough.
Sounds good.
Does that have to be a public?
We'll just need to schedule meetings in the public meetings,
Yeah, we'll
because you'll
have
have more than 2 elected officials present.
to find out when they can, or they would wanna talk to us, but I'd like to do it on the same night, so we're not back in here so much, taking so much of your time.
Do it under the ad hoc
Yeah,
engineering committee instead of a special meeting, or do it as a special meeting?
I don't know yet, right? What we do, it's just, it involves 2 more people that if we have a special meeting, then everybody's got a chance to listen to it. All 6 board members, I think that might be the better way to do it, you guys tell me.
I don't know. Probably doesn't make that big of a difference. And if you wanna come to the meeting, you can, so. Committee meeting or special meeting, as long as we can schedule it.
Okay. And I guess I'll see what I can get for commitments from, if they wanna come and be our engineer, they'll make it what they can do, I think, so.
Alright. Anything more on engineering? Then the next thing is the budget.
And the only thing I wanted to present was that budget worksheet, and I wanted each of the board members to look at it and see what they thought for numbers.
Okay.
The appropriation column needs to be an appropriation, not a budget. We need to go by a budget. We can appropriate more money if something happens, but we wanna stay within the budget.
Right now, the budget is the appropriations. And revenues don't have appropriations.
I'd like you to look at the actuals we've had. We've got 3 years of actuals there, or about 2.5 years of actuals. 'Cause we don't have 27, or excuse me, 26. We're not closed out on that yet.
We don't wanna look at 22 or 23?
The reporting doesn't give me an option to go back that far.
Really?
Just does what's shown on here is the As of December, it was only, 25 and 26. I don't know, as of January, this is all that comes on the report. They'd have to run you, the appropriation spreadsheets that were used, or Angie can,
But if we-
prior to that.
Well, I'm not interested in what the appropriations, I wanted to see what the actual money spent was.
We've got 2.5 years of actuals, or
Right.
we ought to be able to come up with something for a budget that,
Well, like I mentioned, when we talked,
For actual.
typically when you do
revenues,
this, you want 3 to
expenses.
5 years. And then for special consideration, you could go out as far as 10. But, you know, I'm just worried that, you know, I don't know if 2 years is gonna be enough to come up with a good baseline.
For expenses and revenue, you don't really care about the revenue, 'cause the revenue is.
No, I'm more worried about the expenses.
Yeah.
I mean, can
Should
you
be
come
able
up
to do
with,
end of fiscal years for 22, 23. We can't go further than 22. Our system
but you come up with expenses back to 22?
should be able to find a reports.
Cause I'd
They'll
like
be
to see,
separate
you know,
from
I'd like
this,
to
but
see
there'll be
that
some
more
separate
considering
reports.
expenditures.
So, can I ask something? Cause this just zings right out at me here. So, now that we have this report, this fine report right in front of me,
Thanks to Jen.
Jen,
It's a collaboration.
to the collaboration. So, am I seeing this right, that our garbage from 224 to 25 went up $13,000, and then it's projected to be 95.5, so it's gonna go up another, we're going up like $10,000 or $12,000 a year in garbage charges?
All I know is there's been 4% increase each of the years.
Do we bid the garbage for companies? So it's
The last
competitive?
time they didn't, they did 2 times ago, and Northern Illinois Disposal was the best bid. We're not required to bid it.
Was it like a 3-year contract?
when's the contract up? I think
27.
27.
So it'll get negotiated spring of December of 2027. So it'll get negotiated spring, summer, by July of 2027.
So we got another year with NI disposal.
We'll be over $100,000 in 27.
You're saying 4%
It
increase?
goes up 4%
Per year.
a year.
So 87 to 95 is 4%?
I do not know.
I don't think so. Just 10% would be 8,700.
I also do not know if the
Half of that would be-
95.5 was figured at a 4% increase, or if it was a well-rounded up number.
Right, it would have to be, yeah, cause I mean, that number should be a bit lower.
Anyway, that,
4%. What are penalties? What is that?
Late bills. So when you have a late bill,
Is that on the front page?
there's
So
a
that's
10%. Yeah,
The front page is revenue.
Right,
yeah, I know.
Yeah,
The
you know,
pen-
second.
The penalties are, when you have a late bill, the percentage of everything is added to
these
the
are
bill.
revenues to us,
So
yeah,
garbage included.
Yeah, you're looking at garbage revenue.
yeah, I'm looking at revenue.
The pickup was 76.8 in 2024, and then it was 79.9 in 2025, so that is about 4%.
So the next would be 83,000, and then,
Yeah, so that's why that number was wrong, or I was looking at it wrong.
Yeah, we're just slightly overcharging for garbage.
I got a question, I'm just curious. There was a donation of 48,000, what was that?
What page are you on?
I gotta find it here. Second page, number 100560.
For current, no, that would be for previous fiscal year.
Yeah,
That would be
the
the
library.
library and the museum donations combined, plus a couple other things.
oh,
Cause we did 24,000 to the library, 20 to the museum, and then there were some smaller donations in the fiscal year.
And those are things that I'd like you to take a look at, and we're not gonna have, I don't think we're gonna have a $24,000 donation to the library or a $20,000 donation to the museum. So maybe on the budget sheet, we write down a number that we can live with.
There was another $850 donated in 2025.
To what?
Fireworks, community chest, and a little bit to the community church for use of the church for the Winter Festival and to help them pay their cleaner to do final cleaning behind us, even though we leave things pretty clean. It's much cheaper than renting tables and chairs because we use all their stuff.
But if you look at the 24 activity and 25 activity, just kind of get a feeling where we want to be, not where we have been.
24 activity is more average for the majority of years
So,
for donations.
Our numbers
$1,500.
really get screwed up with the grants that we got in the downtown beautification. That's really what screwed up numbers.
so we're not holding any of the funds for Purdy Park that we were holding in the checking account for the Purdy Park committee. That's spent, correct?
No, we moved that money into its own checking account.
Thank you.
So when
So that
Bill's-
is not those monies are not reflected in this.
That's why I asked.
NFT, grants. This is just the general fund, water and sewer. Debt reduction is anything expensing out of there is like loan payments and that, and they're locked and loaded kind of thing, or lease payments. And, capital improvement, same thing. Our expenses for those are pretty locked and loaded, so I didn't include all the categories for those on here. Most of their lines are zeros.
That's why I asked. I didn't see it in it.
So when we do the next round of appropriations and final budget, we'll have numbers for those
Yeah.
based off of the actual payments.
And they were good with moving the money out of that into a checking account, so it was separate?
Mhm.
Okay, good deal. Good deal. Cause I don't, like I said before, I didn't think it was fair to show that as money available.
Yeah, so like MFT, it'll be reported separately. It's no longer commingled.
And I don't know what the other board members know. I do know some things that we need to do. We need to put brakes on the big dump truck. That's gonna be a couple $1,000 would be my guess. We've got doors on the water tower and on this well out here that have to be replaced. 1, 2, where's the other door?
Well, the well pipes,
Yeah,
There's-
so
fencing out the sewer plant.
there's some stuff we need to do, but I'd like you to look at the 24 and 25 activity and maybe come up with a number that we can live with, within our means, within the revenue that we get in.
There needs a, I don't know, maybe you got it on there, but somewhere along the line, from what I can see, need to have, if nothing else, talk about it, have a place that you put some money aside for big ticket items. Well, you cap the wells, the next step. We're gonna have to, eventually, somebody's gonna have to clean those pits out there, the lagoons. If we wanted to go the next step out there for cleaning the water, the sand filter, that seems to be, from everything I look at, that seems to be the way it goes. But I guess my point is, whether it's what the dollar figure is, you're talking $50,000 to $100,000 projects, maybe $1 million.
Yeah. And we still have to work in the water mains with the lead lines.
Yeah, it's just that's a lot of.
So it's something that we're gonna have to put in. And when are we due on that one?
We need to get the report done, and then,
10 years as it stands right now.
10 years to do it. And if you have a smaller amount to do, they're gonna be pushing you to do it faster.
And what is ours considered?
We're gonna be considered smaller. I mean, your bigger cities have already started replacing because of the sheer volume. So, but there's a lot of, an engineering firm can help us find loans or grants for lead lines, because there's a lot of grant out there.
Sounds like they want you to do so many every year, is that right? Okay.
And our biggest is Illini Street.
Yeah, but there is some other.
And once you open that up, you gotta do the whole works all at once.
Yeah. It wouldn't pay just to do a couple.
Illini,
Yeah, no.
Illini, there is some other ones on Shabbona, or Route 30.
In regards to the sludge, we just had that done, didn't we, a few years ago?
We did.
And how often does that have to be done?
They recommend every 10 to 15 years.
And you can probably get by with it longer than that.
So we're good for at least another 10 years.
The design average out there is higher than what's going in. So
Right, yeah,
we
we're only
can
at
probably get by with it
34%
longer, but to Jerry's point,
We need to start
there should be
building
money
put some money aside, and start building some money up for that.
I can't tell you what the priorities are, I can just tell you what I see in the future. That's probably the long-term
Right.
farther out, but
Yeah, well, we got 10 years to build up that account, so.
Well, the problem is, we did have money, not put away, but we had money in the general fund. And with the large projects that went on, that money got depleted. We paid for Apache Street in toll. We paid for the water lines on Shabbona Road in toll. That all come out of the general fund that had money in it to do those kind of things.
Well, not the water line, well, those loans, so we're paying back out of debt reduction, but downtown streetscape, we paid a lot.
Well, excuse me, the downtown streetscape, we had almost $2 million in that. And you'll see on the budget sheet, there's stuff like trees, and we gotta get realistic about how much money we wanna spend on each one of those. They appropriated money, and I think the prior board just thought, as long as it's appropriated, we can spend it. They didn't have a budget in mind, so if we could just sit down and look at this and see from our actual figures what we've spent and where we'd like to land. Does that make sense to you?
Makes sense to me.
And if you're looking at this and you wonder about projects, it's account 650 on all the funds. We'll no longer be using that going forward because it messes up the reporting of what we're spending, how we're spending the money, whether it's engineering or contractor or parts or whatnot. So projects will no longer be used going forwards.
There was a lot of stuff that was reported wrong or put numbers that were put in wrong, and
Because if you look at our engineering numbers, it doesn't reflect all of Chastain's number because there's also money under projects, but there's no way of running a projects report and breaking everything apart. Cause it includes the contractors, it includes the engineering, it includes anything else
But it
that
will
we
be
paid out of
separated
pocket
starting
for.
now.
Starting, yeah, effective immediately, once I realized that this summer,
Yeah,
that stopped being used and it's no longer being used going
Okay.
forward. So as of fiscal year 27, that will not be necessary.
But it's also being tagged as the project, so you can print out how much that project cost. So the engineering fees for this project, the engineering fees for this project, the engineering fees for this project, and then you can tease out how much you actually spent on each project.
okay.
And the reporting on some of that is not totally accurate because of some of the ways things were keyed in the system previously. It's
And I would
fairly
hope
accurate.
we don't have a bunch of projects going at once, like we did before. If you just take and look at this form, like 01000545, village planner. There was $9,600 spent in 2024, and we didn't spend any money in 25, and we haven't spent any money this year. So why worry about a village planner right now? We don't
What's the
have,
village plan?
They will do like grant paperwork if we're doing grants, like the Osgood grant for Purdy Park.
Chastain was a village planner.
Yeah,
They had-
they
they
had
had-
put somebody in place as a village planner, correct?
They have people, she was out of Decatur,
Right.
that's what they do is, she's worked for municipalities in the past and she's a village planner.
So,
Other engineering companies will have the same type of thing. But unless you have something coming up, you don't need to appropriate for it.
We were talking about garbage before. $76,000 in 24 and 79,000 in 25 and 54,000 this year, but the 26 number, we still got a quarter to go.
It
Right.
looks like
2
it'll be
quarters.
83 this year, and then 86 next year, 89 the next year. So it really goes up about $3,000, a little over $3,000 a year. I mean, not obviously it gets bigger each time, but
Right.
And you can see, there's obviously things
So-
wrong here. Look at the electric utility. 20,000 in 24, 6,200 in 25,
Yeah, I was gonna ask about
and
that.
then 19,000 this year currently. So there were things that were put in wrong. But I think they also looked at the appropriation and this is the money we've got to spend and we can't do that.
No. I had a que-
We gotta have a budget number that's lower than our appropriation.
And our general number, like for electricity, went down, but our water number went up.
And then like the water meters, are we not complete with that?
No.
We're still installing them?
Mhm.
Wow.
In fact, I was told today that we need to buy more water meters.
We ordered 5. Can't put them in if we don't have them.
how many more you have to install?
Over 20. Jen could give you a real number probably.
20 and then we're done, or are we?
20, but then we need to also, along with that, be replacing older meters. Like, I'll use the Shabbona Road apartments as an example. Those meters are, there's a chance that one of them's not working. Don't know yet, I'm waiting to find out. But they're also aged, so their accuracy could be going down, and we've got a few others like that. Each quarter, when we run usage and I run the bill stuff and I review all the numbers, I have them go back out and reread meters. They've replaced a couple every quarter at least that are
The
not
bigger the
accurate or
meter,
stop reading.
When they get old, they're less accurate, so you will be leaving money on the table. Good for the customer, bad for you.
What meters cost us?
That
175
meter
each.
thing is gonna be ongoing, forever,
Yeah. 'Cause-
because
Is
they,
there any discount for buying 20 at a time?
Oh, yeah.
No, so it doesn't pay.
And we gotta watch, if we're looking at numbers, we gotta watch the numbers coming out of the water fund. Because we're back in the red with the water fund right now.
We do split meters between water and sewer because sewer is based off the water reading. So it's a 50-50.
So we ordered 5.
That's fine.
We figured we there's no discount on multiple. We felt like we can get 5 done in the near future. So we're just gonna order as we go. Because try to not have those big bills. Besides that, it's like everything else, it ages on the shelf.
So, to make a long story short, and if everybody would take this and look at it and see where a number is, you think the budget should be, not the appropriation, the budget. We can appropriate more money than what we're gonna budget in case there's something that comes up. But let's look at where we think the numbers ought to be, and then we can compare them.
And you can get us those extra 2 years of expenses.
Alright,
I feel like the maintenance and repair budget's gonna be bigger. We see something wrong, they're gonna be wrong, we're trying to address it instead of kicking it down the road. I don't know, I wasn't here, so I think we're gonna be spending more money.
Well, we haven't done any, the village hasn't done any maintenance on fire hydrants. Okay, so we're gonna have to do that. If you look at them, they all need painted. And some of them need sandblasted. And some of them need repaired. And I think we've got one in the shop and we got over $1,000 in parts in it right now,
And a hydrant?
in a hydrant.
New one's 5,000,
Yeah, new one's expensive. We had to replace the one over
and
the
I'm not
tank
sure
a
if
couple
that
years ago.
includes a valve on the end of it.
And we just had a flow test, right?
We had ISO and ISO goes between the village, the fire department, and the sheriff's office. All 3 of those get graded. And they come up with a number, and that's the number that some of the insurance companies use to calculate your premium, not all of them. But it's probably 6 to 7 months away before we get those numbers back. And I know on the village's side of it, we've improved the water flow in more than 2 places. I don't know how they checked it, if they know that. So we'll see, but we know we haven't done the maintenance. I know we haven't done the maintenance. We're supposed to keep a log on the fire hydrants when we do maintenance on. We haven't even flushed the hydrants. We've went out and flushed the hydrants on the end of the line, but we haven't flushed the ones in the middle for years. In case, just unless we had to open one up. So, to Jerry's point, we are gonna be spending more money on maintenance. We gotta watch here, and maybe we're gonna have to slow it down, because we're spending too much money. We gotta watch the money, what we're gonna get in and what we're gonna spend, so. If you would indulge me, I guess, and Callan, this is gonna be your thing, yeah, I mean,
I'll indulge you.
put some numbers down on the paper and let's talk about it.
Alright.
We can't talk about it tonight because the numbers aren't there. And then again, to Richard's point, if we can get more actual numbers, more than 2.5 years, that would probably be beneficial. So,
Especially if
We
you
should be
haven't
able to
done
run those
maintenance in
tomorrow and
2.5,
get them out
3
in
years.
email.
Thank you. By 4 days, 5 days.
Yeah. Maybe you have to go back 4 to 5 years to look at maintenance and.
the problem that I've got is we can see the numbers have not been right here in the past.
Absolutely.
So if we get more numbers, I'm not sure they're right.
well, if there's a huge outlier, it'll be obvious when we're comparing. So I think we can work around it.
I think we can too, I think this may not be the best way to do it, but it's better than what we've done I said we. It's
What
better
has
than
been done.
What has been done. We're like a steer, we can only try, so. I'm sorry.
That's a farming community joke right there.
No.
If you know, you know.
And if any of you guys come up with a better idea, please let me know, because,
The steer needs a little help, is that what you're
well, yeah, I'm telling you, there was a real estate agent in town, and you guys don't, none of the three of you guys know him. Maybe Jerry does, and I don't think you do, but he looked at me one day and he said, nobody stamps smarter than your forehead. And he was right, so.
Go home and do it right now.
Well, any help I can get would be appreciated on both these subjects with the railroad, and we gotta do this, and
You gotta start somewhere.
well, we need the engineering. There's too many pieces coming apart all at once, the way I see it. Trying, but anytime I can get some help, it's great. You were in and talked to the railroad, Josh was in, that's great. I wish we could have more people just sit down and find out, but our buddy Williams out there. Yeah,
You can, we just need 48 hours notice to post an agenda.
so it's piecemeal, it's just help where you can, please.
Absolutely.
And the ladies have been a great help to me, even though they are hot and cold, and we can't keep the temperature up.
You should get into personal incubators.
Well,
Complain about open doors and parking spaces.
Someone take your parking space.
Frank did.
it's on you. I don't know if I
What are
made
you
this
gonna
any
do?
easier, but
Would you like
Strike
we
'em.
could talk to Denny and see if we can get a sign made for your parking space.
He likes signs.
Denny likes signs.
Well, do we have anything else on the budget? If that's it for tonight, I will motion to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Alright.
Aye. Motion passes.